Hi there, my name is Devon Rowe, and this is my combined Spectra problems PowerPoint presentation. I was put into group 5, so my molecule is C4H6O2. So I'm going to start with the IR spectra that was given, and I'm going to circle a few things that are relevant here. It's a little bit hard to see, but this big peak here we're going to start with. So that ends up at around 1750. And then we're going to focus on this one here at about 1200. And then this one here at about 1100. So this big one here at around 1750 is going to help us determine that there is an ester group in this molecule. So if it was perhaps a little bit lower, like around 1745, we might be able to deduce that it was a ketone, but 1750 is in the ester range. So then we have here, these two are going to be CO bonds, which again, the additional oxygen helps us determine that it's an ester, so we're going to go a little bit further. And then we are going to go through, this is the carbon 13. So as you can see here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 peaks here, and we do have 4 carbons to start with. So we're going to go through again and just identify a few of these. So this one right here at about 180, that is also indicative of a carbon double bonded to oxygen. We have one, I'm going to say this is about 70. So this is carbon oxygen bond. Then we have, I'm going to say this is about 29 here. So this is a carbon bonded to a carbon oxygen. And then here at around 20, a little hard to see here. This is carbon bonded to carbon. Okay, so that is the carbon 13 spectra, and if we go a little bit further, we're looking at the hydrogens here. So we have one at about 2.1, 2.5, and 4.3, and as we can see here, 2H, 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 and that helps us see that the hydrogens, there are 6 hydrogens in our initial formula that were given. So if we look at the degrees of unsaturation before we move any further, so that equation is going to be carbon, the amount of carbons times 2, plus 2, and in this case we only have to worry about the hydrogen. There are no nitrogens or halogens, so we're going to do 2 times 4 carbons, that's 8, plus 2 is 10, minus the 6 hydrogen, we get 4, and we divide that all by 2. So the degrees of unsaturation in this case are 2, so that can either tell us that there is 2 double bonds or 1 double bond and 1 ring. So in this case, we are going to expect 1 ring shape and 1 double bond. Okay, I'm going to move here, and I'm going to start filling in. We already went over these a little bit, but I'm just going to fill them in so that they're easy to see. It's here, about 1200 like we said. About 1100 that was. Okay, so this is the infrared table here. We're going to move again. We went through here, the carbon 13. Oops. And I'm going to go in at the end after I enter all these in and bold the relevant ones. Let's see. About 29. Okay, so I'm going to bold this one here. Hopefully you can see that. This one here again. And this middle one. Okay, so that part of the table is complete. And then this one has a few more steps that we're going to go over. So in this case, I'll be explaining how to find the multiplicity based on this. So we already got the integration. All three were 2h. Was given. Okay. And I did already have the proposed structure in here, which I will explain as well. CH2, CH2. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to go back and bold these. So we have these middle ones here. Okay, so to be able to come to the conclusion with the multiplicity, I'm going to go over to the next slide, which also helps get us a better understanding of the differences between the 13 carbon and the proton NMR. So right here, we can see the same peaks that we were talking about, just where they are located on the physical structure itself, which is really helpful. So I'm going to go here to talk about the multiplicity and the proton NMR. So if we start with this bottom one here, this is the 1CH2 at about 4.4 ppm. So the adjacent would be right here, this one here, and this has 2 hydrogens. So for this one, the neighboring hydrogens is 2. These 2 here. So this has 2 neighbors. We add 1, n plus 1, so that's 3. This is a triplet right here. And then if we jump over here, the same kind of thing. So it's a CH2. This one's at the 2.5 ppm. So its adjacent are also 2. There's 2 right here. So this is n2. N plus 1 equals 3. This is also a triplet. So this one here is a triplet. This one here is a triplet. And when we go to this middle one, we can see that it has now 2. It's in between 2. So this one here, this has 2 hydrogen. This also has 2. So that's 4. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So this one in this corner in the middle is going to be a pentet. Excuse me. So the proposed structure without all of the peaks we can see here, it's going to be an ester. And we can tell based on all of these boxes here. So we can fill this in now. So we have 2.1 being, this is the pentet. 2.5 is a triplet. And then 4.3 is also triplet, the 2 ends. Okay. So that is that. This is how I was able to get this proposed structure from my initial C4H6O2. Thank you.